Hi guys, my name is Mustafa Adib Shakib. Welcome to a new video. So in this video, I want to share you guys my interviewing experience while interviewing with Microsoft. So last year, I interviewed with Microsoft for a new grad software engineering position, and I wanted to show you guys what the interviewing process looks like, what you can expect out of it, and what you can do in order to pass. So some brief disclaimer before we get started in the video. So I will not be sharing any compensation numbers. So I will not be sharing how much software engineering makes straight out of college, or I will not also be sharing any offer letter. So the process is generally a two-step process. So the first one starts with a phone screen. That is a 30-minute interview with a Microsoft engineer. And if you pass that phone screen, then you will be invited to an on-site, which is a 4 round of technical interviews. So I'm gonna go much more deeper. So let's start with the phone screen. So for the phone screen, if your resume gets selected, a recruiter will reach out to you with an email that probably will look like this, and you will be able to like schedule your first round interview with Microsoft. That is going to be a 30-minute interview with an engineer from Microsoft. So the way it works is along in those 30 minutes, what happens is the first 10 minutes is reserved in order to get to know you, get to know the recruiter, as so on and so forth. And then at the very end, he or she might ask 1 or 2 behavioral questions. And then for the last 15 to 20 minutes, he will go over a coding questions. Usually that coding question tends to be on the easier side. So it's probably going to be something like a LeetCode easy. So in my case, I was asked something related to Palindrome. I'm not going to exactly tell you what the question is, just because even though I don't work for Microsoft, but I don't want to disrespect and break the NDA that I have signed with them. So I'm going to be very vague for most of the questions, but I will tell you the topic that the question are being asked and the difficulty that the questions are coming from. So for me, I was able to pass the first round interview, and I was invited for an on-site. So for the on-site, which is basically taking place virtually at that time, just because we were in a pandemic last year when my interview took place. So I had 4 round interview. All of them took place via Microsoft Teams, and the platform I used in order for my coding interview was Codality. So for my 4 on-site interview, it started off like I said, like every single round was a 1 hour round, where the first 20 minutes basically goes over your resume, asks you questions about your project, or will be going over 1 or 2 behavioral questions depending on what the interviewer is looking for. For the candidate. So if you don't know like what are some of the behavioral traits that you can demonstrate while you're interviewing, feel free to check out one of my video. I will link it here. That's gonna be very helpful for you to like ace your behavioral interviews. So my first round interview with Microsoft for the on-site was a LeetCode easy question that was based on string manipulation. So for me, my first round was like a 30-minute behavioral round, followed by a 30-minute coding question. I was able to solve it pretty quickly. I went over test cases. I also went over some custom, once I was able to solve the initial question, which is a string manipulation, and I was able to solve it pretty quickly, the interviewer kept on modifying the question just to increase the difficulty a little bit more. But that was the first round. For the second round, I was given something like a LeetCode medium question, or I would term it as LeetCode medium. It was related to a greedy algorithm, or it was a question where you had to use the greedy algorithm in order to solve it. For my third round, it was also a LeetCode medium question. It was like a binary tree question, or binary tree based question. I wouldn't say it's a very difficult one, and just like the previous 3, the first 20 minutes is reserved for behavioral questions, and then the other 40 minutes basically for 30 minutes is coding, and then the recruiter asks you how you solve the problem, what the considerations you make in order for the edge cases, so on and so forth. For the very last one, that was one of the hardest one for the entire process. So the first hardest, the 4th round or the last round for the on-site was a LeetCode hard. It was a custom question made by Microsoft, but I would say it was a LeetCode hard question where you had to use the try data structure in order to answer a question that's related to the Microsoft Word. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what the question is, but it's related to Microsoft Word. Like, how would you build one feature of Microsoft Word? And in order to build that feature, you would have to use a data structure called try. So if you don't know what a try data structure is, feel free to Google it up and acquire the knowledge, because it's a really good data structures to know for your technical interviews. So a couple of days after the on-site, you should be able to hear back from the recruiter. Hopefully you just got an offer letter. Congratulations. So at this point, you should be able to negotiate. So Microsoft, they don't really negotiate hard, but there is a cushion to negotiate if you are willing to take that option. So for me, the quick takeaways in a couple of simple words. So first of all, Microsoft, from my experience as myself interviewing as well as my friends, I did not see Microsoft ask system design interviews to new grad software engineers. The second one is Microsoft interview tends to be a little bit on the easier side compared to the other big tech interviews. Microsoft also likes to see candidates that have used Microsoft technologies in their projects or anywhere in their experience section. So maybe you have used C#, you have Azure, make sure to mention that in your resume if you're interviewing with Microsoft. That's going to help you to get the initial phone call from Microsoft recruiter. And the very last thing that I noticed is Microsoft cares a lot about cultural fit as well as your communication skills. So make sure you are thorough with your communication when it comes to your interviewer, and also make sure you show them that you are a very good fit for Microsoft. And in order to demonstrate that, you can look at Microsoft's values in their websites. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope this was helpful for you. If this was helpful, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.